Okay, so today as you walked in, you would have seen that there was an entry task on your desk. I want you to take the next 2 to 3 minutes to fill out this worksheet. And on this worksheet, I'm going to ask you to provide 3 words or phrases that best describes each of these 4 sections. Okay, and before you start writing, I really want you to think, I don't want this just to be the first 3 things that come to your mind. Like, okay, if I'm thinking of soccer, ball, grass, and net. Like, I want you to really think about what makes it your favorite hobby, what makes it your favorite meal, and be descriptive. Don't just pick the first 3 things that come to your mind, okay? So go ahead and take the next few minutes to fill this out.
We have a large class today.
When you're finished, just look up. About 30 more seconds. Go ahead and finish those up. Okay, so looks like you guys have all filled them in at this point, and I want you guys just to put them to the side for now. We're going to be referring back to them later in class today, so just move it to the side, and we're going to be moving on. Okay, so as you know, we are going to be doing a lot of writing assignments throughout this unit, and one of the biggest ones that we're going to be doing is at the end of the unit when we write those personal narratives that I was telling you about. But in order to become good writers, we have to captivate our readers into really understanding what we want to portray throughout our writing. And to do that, we have to use syntax. Does anyone know what syntax means? What do you think it means?
Sentence structure.
Okay, sentence structure. What else?
Word order in a sentence.
Word order in the sentence. Okay, so we're saying sentence structure and word order. I think that's pretty spot on. Syntax is the way that we organize words and phrases, just like you guys were doing, into a well-structured sentence that makes sense in our language. So what we're going to be talking about today is how we can formulate these kinds of things into a series. What have you guys learned about a series, maybe in your elementary classes, when used into a sentence? What is a series to begin with?
Words that are grouped together in a certain order.
Okay, so words grouped together in a certain order. What else do you think a series is?
I think at least 3.
Yeah, at least
Okay.
3. Yeah. So, at least 3 what? Maybe
Ideas.
ideas, yeah.
Nouns.
Nouns, or maybe even just items, right? Series could be 3 items. So you guys are close. Yes, a series is a list of things that are relevant to one another, and that's really specific. Relevant to one another. If I was just going to say 3 random things within a sentence, then the reader would be like, what is she talking about, right? So it's really important that when we're doing a series or a list within our sentences, that they all are related to one another in some way or another. So a common way that we usually see series used in our sentences, or even the way that we talk with one another, is like this first example. When I went to Hawaii with my family, we went to the beach, played by the pool, and ate a pineapple. And what's most common about that is the last 2 items in our series are connected by a conjunction. And that's usually the word and, or sometimes it's the word or. And this is the most common type of series that we see, or maybe understand, or what we've learned, or how we've written. But today we're going to be focusing on a different kind of sentence structure that uses a series, and that's a series without a conjunction. So without the word and that connects the last 2 items. So does someone want to read this example for us? Yes.
The United States has a government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Great, thank you. And as you can see, there's not that conjunction here that connects those last 2 items. And that's really important. And I want you to read it again. Actually, I will read it. And as I'm reading it, I want you to think about how it sounds, okay? The United States has a government of the people, by the people, for the people. The way that it sounds is very quick and rhythmic. It makes the readers want to know what's next. And not only that, but each item, or item in the series, has equal emphasis of importance, right? It's not like, okay, of the people, that's not important, or, well, by the people, not that important. Each of the items has its own importance. Because there's no conjunction, each one has this equal emphasis and equal importance to the reader. Also, if you were to read this again, you would see, wow, each of those items was specifically chosen by the way that it was phrased, or the word choice, or how you guys were talking about earlier, the syntax. All of these really begin to make sense because of the way that it's quick and rhythmic, the word choice that they pick, and then also how each of the items has that equal emphasis that we're talking about when it doesn't have the conjunction. So this book here is called The Art of Styling Sentences. And this book helps writers like us become better equipped to maybe write sentences that are well formed, especially like this one. And so this book also provides a few examples of how we can practice using a series without a conjunction. So because class is a little bit limited today, you two get to be our volunteers, and there's 5 examples, and they have 3 fill-in-the-blanks, okay? And I'm gonna show them up here. And as the example comes up, I really want you to think about that word choice that best would fit into these examples, okay? And we're just gonna practice them. So the first one. An essay traditionally has 3 major parts, blank, blank, blank. What are 3 words we can fill in there?
Introduction.
Introduction,
Body paragraphs.
body paragraphs,
Conclusion.
conclusion. So this one's a little bit more simple because it's 3 major parts. And we just say, okay, an essay traditionally has 3 major parts, introduction, body paragraph, conclusion. Great, let's go to the next one. Number 2, blank, blank, blank are my favorite foods. Who wants to volunteer to fill this one in? Maybe they can be 3 separate kinds of foods. Let's just say that. Let's keep it simple here.
burgers are my favorite foods.
Okay, and I noticed as you were talking that you filled in the last two items with a conjunction. You said and. And it's really important that as we're practicing this, that even when we're talking, we don't try to fill in that conjunction. So you said pizza, sushi,
Burgers.
and, oh, see, I used that. So fill that in again without using that conjunction.
Okay, pizza, sushi, burgers are my favorite foods.
Yes, okay, and even that time when she said it, each one had that equal emphasis that I was really beginning to hear, even in her voice. Okay, let's move on. Number 3, this one's gonna be a little different. Begin this sentence with 3 ed or en words. Sounds a little trickier.
Startled,
Startled. Maybe exhausted. Startled, exhausted,
exhilarated.
exhilarated. The winner left the stadium feeling great. Now those are 3 words that end in ed that have that rhythm, that quickness to them, and also that we really had to think about what kind of words do I want to put here. We had to think about that vocabulary that we want to use. And each of them had that equal emphasis. So let's say one more time. We said
Startled,
startled, exhausted, and
Exhilarated.
exhilarated. The winner left the stadium feeling great. Okay, number 4. With these ones, I want you to provide the series with using words that end in ing. As you say the 3 words, I want you to read the sentence too. Sometimes then we'll be able to hear that, right? The children gathered around their teacher.
Screaming, jumping, laughing.
Okay, so why don't you say the entire sentence using those 3 words?
The children gathered around their teacher, screaming, jumping, laughing.
Great, yeah. All right, and number 5. When the game was canceled, the rowdy spectators at the ball game, blank, blank, blank.
booed, hissed, tantrumed.
When the game was canceled, the rowdy spectators at the ball game booed, hissed, hissed?
Tantrumed, I made it up.
Tantrum. I guess we make up a word. No, but you guys get the point, right? As we're using these sentences without the conjunction, we really have to think about what kind of words do we want our readers to really focus on within the series, right? Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to take back out the entry task that I had you guys do. And I want you to put those 3 words or phrases that you came up with about yourself into a sentence without using a conjunction. And you don't necessarily have to maybe write the words or phrases that you originally wrote down, because maybe now you're thinking, oh, I need to be more descriptive, or I need to think of another vocabulary word, or whatever it may be. You can change it, and it doesn't even have to be based off that topic. That's just supposed to kind of get you thinking. If you want to use those, you can, that's okay. So I want you to take the next few minutes to write 4 sentences, and using those things that you have already kind of started to brainstorm, to create a sentence using a series without a conjunction.